Okay, I wanted to do a second part to our 1-2 study guide because I feel like it's more difficult now when they don't give us a picture. When we have the segment in front of us, we can sort of visualize. That's helpful. So we want to pay real careful attention to the directions. Couple things we want here. We're trying to find the value of x and rs. So there's two things that have to be done here. If I knew what x was, I could just multiply it by 5 and that would give me rs. So the first thing I have to do is figure out what x is. Then I have to plug it in. Now I have to also pay attention to the fact that they're saying S is between R and T. So what I need to picture every time is a line segment, and don't expect it to be drawn but to scale here. But I need S to live somewhere in between R and T. This is going to be the situation every time if S is between R and T. So the other thing that tells me is that RT equals RS plus ST. I need to use that. All right, so let's take a look at the first one in light of that. If RT equals RS plus ST, what does that mean? It means that 48, which is RT, right, equals RS plus ST, 5x plus 3x. So that's the first step. And now we're going to, just like we did in our review of algebra, solve for x. So I have 8x equals 48. It's 2 steps here. X equals 6. So that's step 1. Right? But they didn't just want x, they want to know what rs is as well. So what is rs? Rs is 5x, so that's 5 times 6, which would be 30. So 2 steps to each of these. Find x and find rs. Okay? So let's see what that looks like in the next one. Again, remember, RT, take that equation that we started with, RT equals RS plus ST. It's going to be 2 steps. We figure out what x is first, and then we plug it back in to get RS. We know off to the side here, RS is 2x. Well, once I know what x is, then I can figure out what RS is. So RT is 32. So RT is 32 equals RS, which is 2x, plus ST, which is 5x plus 4. Okay, so I have 32 equals 7x plus 4. And now we solve. Subtract 4 from both sides. 28 equals 7x. And then we divide both sides by 7. So I get x equals 4. That's step 1. And rs then would be 2 times 4. 8. So remember, 2 steps to each of these. Solve for x, then we plug it back in to find that other piece. Okay? Once you try number 7 on your own, let's see what we get here. Let's put that into our Edpuzzle and see what we get. Okay, so again, if we did this correctly, we start off with RT equals RS plus ST. So RT, they're telling me, is 72, that's the whole piece, equals 6x plus 12. So we subtract 12 from both sides. And I get 60 equals 6x. Divide both sides by 6. So I get 10 equals x. Okay, so that's the first part to it. And remember, what else do they want? They want to know what RS is. So if x is 10, what's RS? 6 times 10. Right? They tell me up here that RS is 6x. So 6 times 10 is 60. Right? So 2 pieces to this. X equals 10 we should have came up with, and we should have also had that RS equals 60. Okay? Try one more in the Edpuzzle here. RS equals 4x, ST equals 4x. Find x and RS. And they also tell me RT is 24. Give that one a shot. So if we did this correctly, we have RT equals RS plus ST. RT is 24. Both of these are 4x. So 24 equals 8x. Divide both sides by 8. and I get x equals 3. So what's RS? RS is 4x. It's right up here. 4 times 3 is 12. So 2 parts to this. We should have came up with x equals 3, and then RS is 12. Okay, so congruent segments have the same length. We can see that with a from a diagram, or we can test it ourselves. So here in the first one is AB and CD, are they congruent? AB is 5 centimeters. CD is also 5 centimeters. So that's yes. They both equal 5 centimeters. Now, over here, are XY and YZ congruent? Well, they're not labeled as such, but I'll go ahead and check and see. First thing I can do is solve for x, right? Because they're telling me that these two segments are congruent. 3x plus 5 actually equals 5x minus 1. So let's solve for x here and see what happens if I subtract 3x from both sides. Right? So no more x's here. We just have 5 equals 2x minus 1. And then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I get 6 equals 2x. And I find that if I divide by 2, x equals 3. So now we can test, even though the picture, if I just assume from the picture that they're not congruent because they're not marked as such, I can still test it, okay? So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 5 is 14, right? This would be 3 times 3 plus 5, that's 14, okay? That's xy. And we know this should be 14 as well over here, 5 times 3 minus 1. But they want to know is xy and yz equal to each other. So let's take yz, that's 9 times 3 divided by 2. So I have 27 divided by 2, that's 13.5. So this is definitely a no, they're not congruent. One of them's 14, 14, and then 13.5 for that other side.